Yep, time for another video, guys. Sorry I've been gone for a while. I've been mentally fucked for a bit, so I returned full force, and just happens to be on the very days where there are claims that Microsoft is planning to buy Discord. Now, those who don't know, Discord is an instant messaging app, no different from Telegram, uh, Telegram, Slack is a very big, very similar competitor. Skype, TeamSpeak or something like that, and a bunch of other big ones that I just can't name off the top of my head. And so, it being a massive chat platform, it is bound to get sold off at some point. It wasn't created by a massive company in the first place. It's actually an independent company currently. But however, there are reports of which their sources are suspicious at best. Mostly because it's mostly unverified reports that neither Discord nor Microsoft has confirmed or denied. So we can't say either way, but both the reporting and the whole situation itself is a little fishy in some cases. But I'm no expert, so we will not dive into that. Today, we'll instead dive into the fact of why this is a bullshit, completely idiotic plan. Microsoft in talks to buy chat app Discord for more than $10 billion, according to a report. Now, it was reported on Tuesday-ish, according on Bloomberg. And this article I have read in full. I read in full. At the time, even disabling my ad block. But it's a little bit of misleadingness because, yeah, they are possibly in talks here, but we cannot say that the acquisition will happen, and a lot of people are saying the acquisition will happen, even though there's no confirmation, and there's also big contenders like Google, Facebook, Twitter, even especially Twitter, Amazon, other massive platforms. Even Epic Games, according to the Bloomberg article, it's kind of just strange, you know? And by the way, yes, Epic Games is mentioned in that article. Also, fuck Bloomberg News. But they've held talks with Microsoft and other massive buyers, and I don't see the logic for Discord being bought out by Microsoft in particular. First off, let's go into the reasons why Microsoft would actually be inclined to buying Discord. Well, first off, Discord is a gaming-centric chat application that is also well beloved by developers, companies such as my own, and a bunch of other communities, chats, live streamers, everything. And there's great profit margins to be made. However, that's probably where the whole situation ends. Because remember that Microsoft doesn't have the best reputation with chat applications. Skype. Oh, and by the way, no, I do not like Skype. Yes, Skype is usable and fine. It's not the greatest application, and I much prefer using anything else. So, you know. So even though they have Skype, and it's currently really shitty of a platform, it's Microsoft. They're literally trying to kill Linux as we speak. Would you absolutely be for certain that if this deal didn't go their way, would you not expect them to just flat out be anti-competitive little shits about it? Question. Would they? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. They would. They already have Skype. They have the ability to rebrand anything they fucking want. They have a massive supply of engineers, servers, and everything else they need to build a chat application that rivals Discord. And they just haven't because they haven't had the reason to yet. But now that they have other competitors that could buy out Discord, that's not great. So, Discord, now those are pretty much the only reasons I could say for not buying Discord either, is being anti-competitive. But the problem is, not would they, but, or even if this is a good idea, but what this would mean if this was correct. What if this is correct? What if this is correct? What if these are all correct and Discord sells to any company, not just Microsoft? Well, it's not great for the users. Software companies buying other software companies rarely ends well for the end user, especially when it comes to Microsoft, my good friends. Remember the GitHub incident of whatever the fuck Microsoft bought GitHub? People were livid, and they still are, rightfully so in many cases. So, why would this be a bad thing? Well, let's talk about why users would benefit first. First off, they get another massive platform to support Discord. And also better Xbox support. Better Xbox support. Not Nintendo Switch, not PlayStation, Xbox. We would also not be seeing any, we would probably be even more struggling to see any ports to the FreeBSD platform, which I am becoming more favored to than Linux as of late. And as a FreeBSD user who also needs Discord for all of my work, running a Linux virtual machine to get all the information to my employees every 2 times a decade we talk. Listen, I'm a great CEO. Anyways, but like, it would be harder to find that because it would just be supporting another non-gaming platform that would be competing with Microsoft. Not great. There's other reasons, too, that this would not be fantastic. Remember how I made it kind of a big deal that it's going to be Xbox exclusive? The chances of Microsoft, if they pot out Discord, porting Discord to Xbox, really high. Extraordinarily up there. Heck, there's already an existing Xbox One application called Quarrel that I use, by the way. It's pretty okayish. Buggy, but okayish. But Quarrel already exists on the Xbox, and while it doesn't quite support voice that well, I mean, it works. But at the same time, you'd also be sacrificing other major gaming platforms. Ones that Microsoft might not be particularly favored of. You know, like the Draugr OS console if you're a huge Linux fan, or if you're just an average normie, PlayStation would have a really difficult time getting Discord on their platform, and so will Nintendo, and any other gaming platform. Steam would have a difficulty getting Discord integration. Steam a problem, as well as the fact that there will of course be very, very, very Microsoft gaming centric focuses. You know, like ZeniMax. We all know ZeniMax. We all love ZeniMax. Fallout 76's creators. Thank God you guys exist. By the way, for those who don't know, ZeniMax is basically the T2, is basically Bethesda's T2. Which T2, or Take-Two Interactive, is the company that owns Rockstar Games, and at one point almost fucking killed the GTA 5 modding community after being so super evil. So the fact that I'm comparing Bethesda sells ZeniMax Media to a horrible company, you know that I'm really not happy with the fact that Microsoft owns them and could own the biggest gaming chat platform there is. Mind you, Discord has millions of users and could actually be furthering Microsoft's monopoly. See, there are a couple of things in the Microsoft ecosystem keeping the Windows 10 operating system alive. Adobe support, which, by the way, does not mean Adobe supporting Windows. It means Adobe not supporting other platforms like Linux and BSD. And the other massive one is the gaming support. You know, video games, the ones that the kids are playing these days, you know, the ones owned a lot of the big games like the number one selling game in the world, Minecraft, a bunch of really massive and popular IPs such as Fallout, actually I want to, like Fallout, why isn't it coming to me? There's another Elder Scrolls, there we go. ZeniMax Media, hold on. ZeniMax Media, other owned companies by them, which would include games that would be massive, you know, studios like id Software, Arcane Studios, ZeniMax Online, Bethesda, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog Games, Roundhouse Studios. You know, now some of those names might not come to the forefront of your mind, but I want to focus on stuff like, especially id Software, who, you know, make, you know, Doom, Wolfenstein. If I'm not correct, no, that would be IO. Never mind. And a bunch of other big name games. Arcane Studios being people who made Dishonored 2, Prey, a bunch of others. And Bethesda, of course, having Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Fallout Shelter, I guess. That's pretty much all they're known for anymore. And, yeah. A bunch of massive games people love, owned by Microsoft. As well, of course, Mojang with the biggest, literally the number one most selling game in the world. It's really hard to say anything to say that Microsoft already has a big stronghold in the gaming community. Oh yeah, I forgot one other massive gaming platform they own. Xbox. I cannot stress how much they own Xbox because, again, they are going to be 100% anti-competitive no matter which way this goes for them. I don't like Microsoft, and for good reason. They could easily either buy out Discord and be anti-competitive shits that way, or try and triple E Discord by embracing, extinguishing, and no. I keep screwing this up. Embracing, extending, extinguishing. Such a common thing in my mind that I keep flipping all the words around and around and around, trying to memorize them all after the bajillion times I have said that phrase. Remember, Microsoft has a history of anti-competitive behavior. And even though Satya Nadella might be trying to change that, I still have my reservations about the whole company of Microsoft, even though I do like some of their applications like VS Code. But let's be honest, Microsoft is reaching its dirty little tentacles all over the planet, and no, do not mention hentai in the comments. I swear to fucking God. So, Microsoft being this evil and if they get their way with this whole, you know, the very thing we're trying to talk about here, if they get their way, this is 100% going to go south for the user. Because, of course, they're going to get restricted access to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Which wouldn't be horrible unto themselves, except it also hurts and limits access to other platforms. And, mind you, well, yes, other consoles like the Draugr OS console, Vitalia or something like that, which I'm kind of helping with to a very minuscule extent. The whole console, even though Discord supports Linux and the very Linux distro that Draugr OS is based on, it's very hard to say whether or not Microsoft will be happy with a competitor being able to use their platforms that they now own. Or, for that matter, using a competitive platform if the deal goes south. I have to say, Microsoft would probably not win if the deal goes south. If they try to rebrand and rebuild Skype, it probably wouldn't work. That's fair enough. I wouldn't care if they did it because, let's be honest, the chances of that working are slim to none. But what I am scared about is the fact of they do win. Because I am not shitting you when I say the chances of Discord becoming an Xbox-only platform and the extent of consoles is extraordinarily high. And also gives Microsoft a lot more ammunition against other competition, like, Steam. The entire company of Valve will be put right under the gun. And the reason I say this is, remember, Valve is a huge supporter of Linux. They are a massive Linux supporter, and I am thankful for that. We love you, Valve, at the Linux community, as well as the FreeBSD community to a slightly lesser, but still very honest and strong extent. But Discord being bought out by Microsoft, remember, Steam does directly compete with Discord. Even before and after that whole Game Store fiasco, that Discord somehow fucked up. Like, honestly, guys, how the hell did you fuck that one up? Like, you had a perfect business plan in place. What did you do wrong? But other than that, Steam would give Microsoft a lot more ammunition. It would give them a bigger gun to point at Valve, saying, hey, we're a strong competitor to Steam now. And while they don't have a game store like Steam yet, the acquisition of Discord would easily not only give them the ammo to say, hey, we have the chatting applications, they could also just remake the whole Discord game store idea and say, hey, Valve, know you. And be able to damage, if not the highly unlikely situation of Valve absolutely collapsing, which, by the way, would probably not even happen in a million years. Even if Microsoft is, at best case scenario, it would be highly unlikely for Valve to outright collapse. They still have their games, they still have their platforms, they still have their toolkits. They still have a lot of things against Microsoft that would keep them above water, at least in a tiny extent. But overall, Discord being bought out by Microsoft, if it happens or if it does not, it is absolutely painful to think about. Because on one hand, we have a possibility of Discord being owned by Microsoft and all outcomes being 100% bad, or Discord not selling out to Microsoft, or selling out at all, at least, hopefully. But at the same time, either getting damaged by Microsoft, or maybe even purposely bugged out by Microsoft. Again, Microsoft is anti-competitive as shit, and they won't remove that stigma if they buy out Discord, and if they don't, it would still be really hard to keep out that stigma from them. So overall, I'm just gonna have to say it's a very much lose versus a semi-lose scenario. So a lose, semi-lose scenario. So it's idiotic. I hope this does not happen because, well, yes, I do use a Microsoft product, VS Code. That doesn't mean I enjoy Microsoft in general, especially with their anti-competitive behavior. Some of which can arguably even be found in VS Code. However, I do not have a full understanding of that yet because the three people who brought that idea up are a bit insane, but my name's been Kai, this is Kai Likes Linux, and I will see you in the next Sleepless Night episode of Kai Likes Linux. Great way to end 6 in the morning. Have a good one.